All right. Hello and welcome to the 99th episode of the HSBG Podcast. I'm your host, Educated College. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady. Bunny, Shady, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Collins. It's good, man. It's good to see you. How are you?
Good. I can't believe me not starting it on my own time tripped me up so badly. I was like, wait a minute. I don't get to choose. All right. But yeah, I got there.
It's funny to see that this many episodes and that can still happen, but I guess
It's because this is a new thing. Like me not
exactly, yeah.
being able to tell, oh, 1, 2, 3, and then I changed my mindset and let's go. So
It's kind of like
it's
it's like you're backstage.
it's like episode 3 or something.
That makes sense. This is probably maybe even only episode 2 where we're doing this.
Right.
All right. Yeah, that's just me recording for anyone wondering, like, hey, what do you mean episode 2? Okay, well, we have some updates for the game. Mostly just gonna talk about what that means in terms of the games themselves, what's been happening. But we've had a small patch since our last podcast.
Does it feel small though? I just want to ask. Like you say, it's a
kind of. It's weird because I'm happy to talk about it. It's fun to have the podcast to talk about it. So we'll get the boring stuff out of the way. So this is a very small patch. Replicating Menace is now a 3-2 instead of a 3-1. Wargear is now a 6-5 instead of a 5-5. That's because these cards were changed in standard, and because they're also standard cards, they're in their current form also in BG. So
I was wondering why they changed. I didn't know it was because it was changed in standard. Okay.
Yeah. So this has almost no impact. You're still buying these cards when you would normally buy them.
Really? Does it have no impact? I feel like extra health on Menace is like kind of good.
Yeah, but you don't have Deflecto, and you're like, well, I wasn't going to buy that 1 health Menace before, but now I'm going to buy the 2 health Menace.
Well, no, like it doesn't change your buying philosophy, but I feel like is it not noticeable to have a 6-4 instead of a 6-3? Is that not nothing?
Yeah. So whenever you are increasing the health on a card, you're going to increase its win rate, unless it's like Nadina, maybe. Right. So there's a few exceptions. So yeah, the win rate. I'm sure that the turns where you buy a Menace or a Wargear, the win rate has gone up. Like ever since.
Like a lot, yeah. Well, a lot for Menace. Wargear, I feel like is not as
but Menace is so good when Menace is good, it's really good, right? Like sometimes you just have boards where I just want to roll Menaces. I just need like 3 more Menaces now, Bob. Come on, let's go. When you have like that double mackerel Deflecto board. But yeah, that's not really the sexy update.
Really? Yeah, Wargear update gets me going, let me tell you.
That 6-5. Love it to put it on the Divine Shields. All right, so that's it for the minion pool updates. Then
there's one more.
I suppose
I see what you're saying.
So Sire Denathrius has been returned to the hero pool. I have yet to see a Sire in any of my games since this patch.
Really?
I am not sure if this is accurate, but maybe it's true and people have just skipped him. Or it's not
no Sires?
I
don't.
But then again, ever since the Hooktusk buff, the first 2 days, I also did not see a single Hooktusk. And that was just variance. It was unbelievable. Like 2 whole days of playing at the highest level and not a single person at Hooktusk. So I just couldn't believe it. So that and Hooktusk was in because viewers were telling I was even thinking like, is it already disabled at high MMR or what's going on here? But then the
okay, you might be right because I'm looking at HS replay and no one has Sire.
No one has Sire. Okay.
Yeah, no one has Sire.
Well, I mean,
so it's just not in.
I'm definitely right in that I didn't see it, but I'm just saying that doesn't mean.
And no one has seen it. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Like, and this is like all players as well. So like, there's no like some idiot if it was really that bad Someone is gonna pick it and between the player base.
Yeah.
There's no way. So
I mean, Sire has a very high potential of creating a unique game. So I'd say it's.
so basically, what you're telling me is they just lied.
I think that they thought they fixed it, and then they're like, we didn't fix it.
We didn't fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. But here, I mean, the whole patch is basically fluff until you get to this point. Friend of a friend has been returned to the minion pool. Now, for those of you that were around for the last buddy meta, when friend of a friend made its appearance for just a few days, breaking the game.
Hey, can I like overreact and then you like you call me?
Let's go.
So I wanna. This is a bit. I want to pretend like I don't read. All right. And just like look and just look and then react. So I read this. I'm like, friend of a friend is returned to the minion pool. And I'll be like, do they not understand? Do they not know what they're doing? Haven't they learned? Right. We understand. Friend of a friend was crazy powerful, insanely broken when you add being able to discover a buddy into the minion pool. There's so much randomness, so much RNG. You can create crazy combos. And then I keep reading, it's a 5-drop now. How could they do this? It's even easier to even use this card. How, but then you look and it's like when you sell this, right? And that's a big deal. That's a big difference, right? It means that brand isn't a synergy there where you can just easily play the card, get the battle cry, and trigger it. And a lot of times, a lot of the synergies was like Zephyr synergy and things like that, where you would target the friend of a friend, or it'd be relevant that you still have it. So there is some counterplay, but my initial reaction when I saw this was I was like, this can't be good. But as you get used to it, and I do think because of their learnings with ETC, it's actually not as ridiculous as if they put it like at the beginning of the buddy cycle, essentially, without knowing anything. I do think it maybe would have been a much bigger problem.
Yeah, so I think that if you never saw the previous friend of a friend, we could be talking about this card and say, yeah, my God, this is some Clown Fiesta bullshit. I'm ready.
And you'd be looking at us a little crazy. Like, what do you mean? I've played with this card. It's fine.
No. So let's say that the previous iteration of friend of a friend never existed. So then we play, and then we play with this, and we would say, man, this card is so dumb because you can just randomly get this Ticketus thing, or you can randomly get a Gallywix buddy, right? That's so dumb. But then right now, that's all it is. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, that's so dumb. Whereas before, friend of a friend, I distinctly remember Collins coming into my stream, watching me not donkey roll for Bran and power leveling to 6. So like, Shady, come here. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Just get friend of a friend. And anything else, all that little cute shit you're doing with your deflectable,
it's not so right waste of your time.
Not right now. Just always level to 6, always roll for friends, always roll for Bran every single day. And I did that, and I gained like 500 more. So yeah, that was a good advice. So that's how much that card warped the meta, because what Collins is saying is absolutely true. It used to be a battle cry and it worked with Bran, but not only that, the Zephyrs back then was also a battle cry. The Ticketus was also a battle cry. So
everything was a battle cry.
It was insanely snowbally. Once you got going, the snowball didn't stop, because like Collins says, you use the battle cry on the friend of a friend. The friend of a friend pulls the Zephyrus. You play the Zephyrus. You grab a second copy of a friend of a friend. You grab a second copy of your brand. You get a golden brand soon. Now every friend gives you 3 buddies. You get a fail-in buddy with a golden brand. This is a full hand. You just money, roll, more friends.
Yeah.
Go.
I was like annoyed because I was like, well, time to play forever. Like I just have infinite money, and I have to like pretend I know what I'm doing. Well, no, I don't have to pretend I know what I'm doing. Like to like pretend I wanted to do all this, and like play cards and like have like 1,000 HP units and like just have infinite money. Where I just wanted to like roll, take this. Okay, I'm done. Let me not do anything else.
Well, this
But they're
was
giving me like 60 gold, and I can't just like be like, I don't need to use 60 gold. Let me just waste. Like I have to like play the cards, right? So basically nonstop, like for like 20 minutes, I'm like doing stuff.
yeah, you're sweating the moment you get the first brand friend of a friend.
Yeah.
The crazy thing as well is that Amalgadon was still in then, so you could very, very easily get 6 Amalgadons and a brand on your board.
Well, I mean, at some point you sell the brand, right? Like even I'm saying that, like
Well, you with friend of a friend. So first of all, you have Ice.
well, you'd sell the Amalgadon. Wait
Yeah,
a minute.
you sell.
What am I saying?
You sell Amalgadon number 6 to keep cycling with friends, right?
Yeah. That makes
because
more
everybody
sense.
is Ice Block.
I knew something was wrong when I was saying I'm rusty, Shady.
Right. No, it's fine. It's fine.
That didn't make sense to me.
The hilarious part was that was one of the weaker boards. The 6 perfect Amalgadons was kind of weak at the very high levels of play because people started figuring out, you know what, with this Gallywix buddy and all that, I'm just going to make like 300 Deflectobots, and then they can reset each other. Amalgadons don't reset each other. So I'm just going to make like 300 Deflectobots.
I thought you were going to be like, just make 300 Wind Fury Divine Shield Hydras. Like,
yeah, you can do that too. But the taunted Deflectobot, for instance, would like absorb a lot of that as well, right? So,
but whoa, the Hydra's not in the front. So.
Yeah, okay. So if you have the, so it's just easier to do it with Deflectobots, right? But with Hydras, as long as you roll enough Ticketus for Give a Dog a Bone and you roll enough Gallywix buddies, you could say, I don't know why we're talking about this because it's all hypothetical. You can't really do that right now. But yeah, fun.
Well, I haven't been playing yet. Right, slow down.
Right. You would still.
I'll find a way.
So. Right now, I have done some silly stuff with friends. Right, I've discovered the Gallywix buddy on a Vol'jin, where I like, pump my Vol'jin super high attack, and then I get like 100 damage on my units. I've gotten the Ticketus, where I made all the minions in my shop 1 cheaper. I've gotten the Give a Dog a Bone on the Hydra. So is it basically Ticketus doing all this stuff, or is it like more stuff? For the most part, it's Ticketus, but sometimes you just get a weird one. Like I don't know if you can get Sylvanas. I think you can. So that one will obviously be nasty. But a lot of it is just you buy it and sell it because you can't help yourself, right? Like that's what you do. You have to check the box, and I think it's correct because. Yeah, I think so too. It's only 1 gold, right? So even if you whiff, even if you whiff like 8 out of 10 times, those 2 times where you hit, it's like juicy. It like if it can win you the game, it's worth it, right? And it can. So now this thing procs Theodar. So I've had this on a run with. Oh no. Yeah. So I've had this on a. So run you are like hell yeah! I've always buy it. Yeah. Once you have Theodar, like this is just. Like it's like Scout on absolute steroids, right? And Scout is already insane when you're playing Theodar. So yeah, so when you're playing Gallywix, especially with Theodar, you're just like wee. So yeah, I mean, is this a good card? Absolutely. They've been waiting to put this back in the game. That's how I feel. They've been waiting. They've been like, I really want to play with this. Like, what? But they will complain. We have to balance it. I kind of like it like this. No. I feel you. Like, there's no tournaments for me playing. Like, with you, I don't have any skin in the game anymore where I have to defend like the balance here. Like, with you. Sure. So, if anything, like my first 2 days or 3 days were quite underwhelming. I was like, no crazy shit. Just. Normal, like sometimes I made some money off a Phelan buddy or this or that, some whiffs here and there, but then like getting the Give a Dog a Bone for my Hydra and just in general being able to get Ticketus prizes. The rationale is that
since a lot of the really broken ones are now you have to sell it, the brand interaction just isn't as like free flowing anymore, I would assume.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
Brand is still pretty good in buddy meta. There's still
Yeah, of course.
there's still like patchwork, right? There's still Toki, so there's definitely some buddies. Yeah, let me adjust the. It's crazy because I have this super high gain on myself and almost nothing on Collins.
Well, that's because my mic already has super high gain on it.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
I'm just gonna take a moment to sort it out, I guess.
I probably should open the chat or something. That would be helpful, Colin. I hear you. I could.
Oh, that does get rebalanced. Shouldn't.
I could definitely lower my thing, but I guess you can do it manually.
Yeah, I don't know why I guess I know because every time you switch, I'm probably gonna have to boost you a bit again. That's fine.
Testing.
Yeah, it's just a classic. Hey, I noticed you plugged in some headphones. Let me reset all your settings.
Oh yeah, I am quiet. I am very quiet.
No, you were very loud. I've switched it around right now. Now you're probably gonna be much more quiet.
Yeah.
All right. So how is it now, Chad? I'm just gonna continue and. Yeah, that's
Well,
essentially.
I'm listening back now, so
Yeah.
I can hear the difference.
Yeah. So do you now?
I'm too quiet, basically. Like you need to.
Chat, make
you need to definitely raise
make up
me.
your mind, chat. What is it? No, it's
Yeah, I hear you. Like the
That's just
person that
easy.
said I'm too loud is now I'm too quiet.
They're speaking the truth. How dare they? That can get you in trouble. All right. I'll just raise this. All right, we're just gonna have to go with this.
You know, personally, I liked it better when I was too loud. You know, I'm just saying, like, personal opinion here. Like,
All right. Whew. So the games have not been as crazy as I thought they would get, because I was really just ready for some friend of a friend madness. But I think so it's not good enough to like hit and win as before. So people aren't going for this reckless power leveling. Give me the early friend of a friend, and I think that's probably what's affecting that pace of the game, where before we saw friend of a friend being so dominant that everybody was power leveling and going hard, and now that's not the case. So the meta is still buddies, which means there are still some stupid boards with like scabs getting early, double steals, and getting becoming a monster. But I can't really tell the difference in the average game between pre-friend of a friend and post-friend of a friend. And that was obviously very different the last time around. You could definitely. I think
that makes sense, honestly. Yeah. The way it's changed, because the with pre-friend of a friend, you need to play a lot of synergies before it like really popped off. That's why it would like take like maybe 2 friend of a friends to really hit it, unless you're lucky, right? And the first one gives you the nuts. But everyone else also realized the high roll potential, so everyone was going for it, right? So you would see like maybe 20 friend of a friends like very early, like across the player base, right? Now you do it, it's one at a time, and even if you get something good, that's your one good hit, right? And then you have to like you have to keep going to really keep that cycle going. And since you don't have the synergy with battle cries, you probably have to play like 5 times more friend of a friends to really get the impact of that single one before on the tier 6 version. So I definitely understand it. I think it makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, the game in general feels really fun and rewarding right now, though.
I know. Imagine defending, the quest meta. I just don't see it.
I feel like every time I give buddies any praise, Collins is like, so
Yeah,
they are
it's
better than quests.
I agree.
I still like quests more. That's a hill for now I'm gonna die on. So
You're a quest loyalist. I ain't about it.
Something about just starting up the game and being like, don't care what hero I'm getting, right? I think that's my argument.
I guess that's your one. That's
Not
your
my
one
one.
saving grace, where it's like, ooh,
sure.
I could see that.
What I loved about quests is that the games were so different, and you could really, man, you would just do weird stuff all the time. I would just do these lines where I'm just like, guys, outside of quest meta, this makes no sense. So you could do like really creative shit, whereas
I do that anyways.
Sure, like this time I leveled to 6 really fast with this
Really
minion.
fast. Yeah, I know exactly, right? Like the pace of how I get to the 6 is different every time, Shady. Like
now I bought 2 busters instead of 1 buster.
I hear what you're saying, yeah, but like that's a constant regardless of the meta, like come on.
Right.
Yeah. But I hear that. It like definitely the hero selection being a lot fairer is definitely a big plus for quests, where every other meta it's really very hero dependent. So I can hear you. Like if you wanted some like the one way to like get me to be like, oh yeah, that's the way to do it. That's you've definitely found the approach. That would work.
So I'd say we can have a look at the top heroes right now, and let's go here. I think that's always an easy thing to look at.
Mucinous is broken. I don't know how to say it any clearer. This hero is definitely not fair.
So we're sort of getting it down to a science now, playing Mutinous, where
Go watch Celesta's video.
Yeah, I'd have to see. I saw Jeef commented on that. I don't know if he was like being serious or ironic or.
No, I think he was being serious. It's
okay, good. I was like, are we gonna get some trouble here? But the way how you play it essentially now is you have your. Well, this is without watching Citizen's video, so she might advocate something else.
Well, go. I'm sure you know what you're
doing. Yeah. So so we had this evolution when we talked about Mutinous, where originally we were spitting in the 8 golds, I think. You were spitting on your buddy, 9 gold, you were spitting it onto 3 minions. Now that you have much more control over when you get your buddy, but also when you get your second set of buddies, people were experimenting with, we're going to make the golden buddy, right? Make it really big and then spit it onto 5 minions. And then the logical step after that is like, wait, we can get even greedier. What if we just spit it onto 3 minions, then eat 1 big minion again, then play the buddies, then eat it on top of the buddies, and then you have 2 big buddies because one buddy will jump to the other. And that scenario very routinely results in about a 100-100 buddy that you are then redistributing to 3 more minions. So it is very, very common to have 3 100 damage, 100 health minions, roughly speaking, after you're done eating your buddies.
Once you have you won't have a 200 minion as well?
So you're essentially what you're doing the first time around is going from the 1 big buddy onto 3 others, right?
Yeah. And then you're moving those 3.
You're having 1 extra big minion. So if that big minion catches it again, which it will, one minion is even bigger. That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you want to make sure it hits the buddy, so you'll only have 1 other one. Yeah. So essentially, what we're talking about right now is that when you're eating your second buddy, you want to make sure you eat the third buddy. You hit the third buddy with that, which means you're only going to have 2 other options. But yeah. Anyways, that's it's large.
That's what's important.
You get very, very. I think the one problem that you can encounter when you're playing Mutinous with this strategy is that the time it takes to go from, okay, I've eaten my first buddy. I now have 3 big minions. The goal then is to get it back down to 1 big minion. That takes 3 turns, right? You eat, and then, you eat, and then you have 1 big minion, and then you eat and put it on the buddy. But that third turn where you move the big body to the buddy, you do not gain any strength. If anything, you become weaker, right? Because it might be a divine shield and you're moving into the buddy. So that is the turn where you can die if cap is off and you're below cap.
That happens 6.2% of the time, apparently.
Well, so what I have been doing, which is a little bit less greedy in the games where I feel like it's possible I'm not going to get there. I know, crazy. Me not going full greed.
How dare you?
It's instead of just making the 1 big minion, I just put the 2 buddies on the board and then I eat. And then if it jumps to one of the buddies prematurely, that's fine because then I always have this panic button, right? Like, because if you need to get strong, but your stats are still on a non-buddy, you have to take 1 more turn to move it to the buddy. Because otherwise you can't get your power spike. But if you already have a buddy on your board that is, say, a 30-30, you can always hit the panic button where you're like, all right, let's just add 60-60 to the board. Well, 90-90, but you're losing 30-30. So you can always hit the panic button and be like, all right, let's stop losing. And then you can still try to get greedy with the third buddy. So that is something for me that has been working better in games where I don't really see the Giga greed. But of course, sometimes you just have a great game. You get like Nagas early, Spellcraft, you're strong, everything's chill, there's no problem. And then you're like, yeah, I'm just going to max this greed. Let me just all put it on 1 buddy. And then I just get super large.
That's only if things are not working out.
Yeah, if things aren't working out, then I think you put your 2 buddies on the board prematurely and you just try to hit them. So you just have that panic button to eat the buddy when you break glass in case of stats or so, or break stats in case of emergency. You can just eat the buddy whenever you need to.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I'm still surprised. Like the hero was good last buddy meta too, so
yeah,
surprised it's not getting adjusted anyway.
I think the stats reflect it, right? He's a huge winner of the new system because being able to force your second set of buddies out for like 8 gold or whatever and then just get started is so much better than having to wait an extra 3 rounds for your buddy meter to fill up.
Yeah.
So big deal. Then we see Millhouse. I'm watching on the 1%, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Cool.
That makes sense to me as well.
What do you think people are doing with Millhouse at highest level? Like, what's the best minion? I'll put it that way. What's the best minion for Millhouse right now? This is a very specific thing that's completely broken.
Fireworks Fanatic.
It's really good, but I don't think it's the best minion.
Damn it.
It's so dumb, but when I say it, you're going to be like,
Golden
oh yeah, that's insane. That's obviously also insane, but it's the evolve guy. So they stay on tier 4 and they just evolve a thing twice to a 6-drop and then they just farm 6-drops on tier 4. It's so broken.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. So you just...
How am I supposed to know that?
Yeah, it's really specific, right? So, but if... Like, especially if you get one of those evolve guys as Millhouse, you like try to set it up where you're cycling 3s, you get another one of those, and then you just target a 4, evolve, and for again, right, to sort of spell it out for people that haven't done it yet, because it can be a little bit confusing. So Millhouse's buddy, the text is when you buy a minion, replace it with a minion of the same tavern tier. But you can evolve a tavern tier 4 to 5 and then to 6, which means that you are on tier 4, so you've taken on none of the risk of having to level to 6, and you get all of the benefits of being able to buy a bunch of 6-drops. So Millhouse gets to buy like, 6, 7, 8 6-drops per turn because you're cycling. And in those 6-drops, you can get Seafood Chef, you can get Uther. So these are easy cycle minions. And yeah, the chance that you get a Golden Theodar is very high. And then, of course, you have a Golden Theodar on Millhouse. And then you're going to have a pretty good game. Like, once you farm the Golden Theodar, you can kind of let go of the 6-drop and you can just start rolling for neutrals. But yeah, obviously, Fireworks Fanatics is also a cool Millhouse card because you can.
Yeah, I thought that was a good answer.
It's a great answer. It's just that people have been abusing this evolve thing. I think it's more a high MMR thing. I don't think it's like a, but it's very common at high MMR that you see a 6-drop on tier 4 for Millhouse, which is really dumb. Well, sorry, let me rephrase. A board full of 6-drops. You see
multiple 6-drops, yeah.
Yeah, you see a board full of 6-drops on tier 4 for Millhouse. And it's just like, that sounds a little too good, huh? I don't think a hero should have access to a board full of 6-drops on tier 4. Especially, yeah. I mean, especially Millhouse, right? It's so punishing to just hit the level button on Millhouse. So not having to go through that punishment of 2 turns of level to nothing, it's, yeah, quite interesting. Kurt being number 4 in high level is
that one amazing. You ignore. You say it's not relevant.
Right, you're like, that's a statistical anomaly.
Statistical error. Yeah,
right. A rounding error. Your Kurt games are a rounding error.
I agree. Let's move on. Ignore that one.
All right. Well, I mean, Hooktusk is 3rd.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We understand that, right? We know what's going on. Then Togwaggle is up there as well, which makes a lot of sense.
I think it makes sense too.
Yeah, I have a lot of good.
The ones that are surprising me are the rounding errors.
Well, Barov makes complete sense, right? Barov is very strong.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah, I had earlier today. I had a turn 6 Felbat. I was like, oh yeah, this is coming. This is memories coming. Because I leveled from tier 3 straight to 5, and I bought my triple all in the same turn. I was just like, coin. It's like level to 4, level to 5, grab my triple, bam, fell bat. I was like, that's a pretty good turn. So yeah, that was completely ridiculous. Yeah, the turn 6 fell bat. So Enhanso Meccano. So what we are doing right now is we're looking at the win rates for the top 1% provided by HS Replay. Enhanso Meccano is up here as well, which is 24% pick rate. So not
bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah.
That's
going on there?
Not really a rounding error. So I've played a little Enhanso here and there myself.
It's just because it's a one.
It's a one drop, yeah, basically. So it's just reliable. I also think that when you look at the placement, you see so much like second, third, fourth. Yeah, so I think what happens here is you have higher level players who realize, okay, I guess I'll just pick an answer.
I can get an early 6, and then, that's fine.
I'll just do some stuff.
And then I'll die to the high roller.
Yeah, I'll die to the Mutinous. I'll die to the Millhouse, right? So they're just using their triple to gain some access to a higher tier minion. But also early on, your buddy does give you some what I did when I played Enhanso is on 5 gold, I just paid 5 for my buddy, and then the turn after I bought 2 buff minions, and that felt pretty good. Especially when you have a minion that already has an attribute in the shop, and the shop is still going to add a minion to it. You can kind of guarantee that you're going to be able to buy 2, for instance. But a lot of the time, because if you do it on 5 gold, the shop is still full, right? So you kind of just have to let it go. Or if you rolled, what I had is I rolled a Divine Shield Chromowing. So I just froze that. And then
that's good.
Yeah. So I just froze that, paid 5 for my buddy. Then I played it, bought the Chromowing and something else with taunt or something. So that's also +2/+2. And then my next turn, Whelp Smuggler got Divine Shield. So it was like a 4/7 Divine Shield. Yeah, so that was pretty good. And I think when Murlocs are in, any hero that has that kind of an early game can easily just do stuff, poison. So yeah, I think Enhanso, especially when Murlocs are in, especially when you can high roll and Divine Shield the Murloc, right?
Do you care about dragons? Because I feel like dragons also better.
Yeah, I mean, dragons were in both times. So rolling the Bronze Warden is really sweet.
I see. So there's the extra piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Dragons and Murlocs in. All right, maybe okay, but Murlocs may be more important.
All right. So we have Finley next, which makes whatever because
Tons of
Finley is
sense,
Finley, right?
Yeah.
And then we have another rounding error, 10% pick rate on Queen Whack Toggle. Played it myself today.
Is it a rounding error or
Didn't really well, I mean, you're unlikely to win, right? So it's the same approach as the Enhanso. So what I did on Queen Whack Toggle was I went 3-on-3 and then I just bought a ghoul, and that ghoul got like +3/+3 by default at the start of combat. And that's pretty strong, right? You get an 8 health minion straight away. So I almost won my first round on 3-on-3. I actually kind of got scammed. So then I also used my buddy for money, but I kept it on the board so that I could triple it with the next one.
Oh.
And you can do stuff like buy a money pirate, put it on your board for an extra type, farm an extra gold, and then sell it, which is kind of nice. And with the golden buddy, you can do the same thing with a Tad, for instance, because Tad costs you 1 gold, but the golden buddy gives you +2 per type. So you still make a gold off playing the Tad.
So you're looking for like Hydra, you're looking for like Blanchy, you're looking for
I'm not even playing too much around the hero power, really.
Okay.
It's more like 3-on-3. Sure, if you can get like Deflecto.
You know what? You should just go with Theo, right? Isn't it just a Theo hero? Doesn't it scream Theo to you or no?
I mean, any hero wants to play Theodore, pretty much.
You're so biased. Okay.
No, I think Theodore is just broken, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say Queen wouldn't want a Theo, but yeah, it's playable, but I wouldn't say like, oh, it's gonna be one of my go-to picks. But that's one of the things where I look at the pack of heroes, I'm like, well, I guess we're going 3-on-3 on Queen and hope to, not lose him more this game. Then we got
Makes sense.
Maev, which is a very
Makes ton of sense.
straightforward pick. Yeah, not a straightforward pick, but understandable why she's up high. N'Zoth.
N'Zoth makes sense because of the booming composition.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
It's too strong. It's really freaking dumb. N'Zoth can make 3 golden boom guys with each buddy.
Seems good.
Really dumb. So they need to nerf boom guy.
You're a hater.
I am a hater, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we have Vol'jin up
Vol'jin,
next.
your favorite card, your favorite hero.
I mean, it's got
Makes
way
sense.
too low win rates, but that's understandable because it's a super, super difficult hero to play. But yeah, man, there's so many cool things you can do with Vol'jin. But that's just propaganda for me, so don't pay too much attention to that.
Yeah, fair enough.
We got Rat King, which still makes sense.
Scab's ugly cousin.
Well, where is Scabs? I'm not seeing him here.
Yeah.
Took a big hit.
Took a big hit, yeah.
We have Silas up next.
Silas is weird to me. I agree.
Exactly. We do see in the stat distribution, in the win distribution, that we do have a lower first place rate than almost all the other ones.
So I think anyone with a lower first place on this like podcast is gonna be like, that's weird. This is a weird one. Oh, then you look at it has a lower first place. That's why I never pick it.
Yeah.
I can already.
It is true that, essentially when we are looking at this, top 1% is 10K plus.
Right.
But the difference between 10K or 14K/15K is insane.
Quite massive, yeah.
Yeah. I will say that a Whack Toggle, if you look at a 14 or 15K MMR player, they're going to rate that a lot lower. So I would never rate Whack Toggle as high as it is in this list. Same thing with Enhanso, same thing with the Silas. So any hero that by default has a higher struggle to get first place, you can't be too happy about that as a very, very high level player, because you are expected to win the lobby, or you are expected to win almost any lobby you enter. And that's not always going to happen, of course, but the system will punish you accordingly. If you if third place is like +8 points or something. So picking heroes that can easily still get unlucky. So you take on a lot of the risk that a high level hero has, but you get almost none of the benefit in terms of, oh, if you have a good game, you're not even winning. Well, then, picking a Gallywix, picking a Millhouse, picking a Mutinous, picking a Hooktusk, that is going to be so much better, because then if you have a good game, you just get all the points.
Like, the problem here is that this tier list makes a lot of sense to me. So I know I'm rusty because I've almost never agreed with a tier list that's come out of this. Anytime we ever do it, I'm like, this seems wrong. Like, in some way. Like, the only ones that look confusing are the rounding errors. Everything else is like, yeah, I can see this. I can see this. I can see it. I can see it. Like, so there's nothing like, ooh, they've messed up here. Which is usually where I have, ooh, they've not really analyzed anything here.
Well, I can point you out to the things that are weird.
And
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like, you can point it out, right? And I can't. That's my problem.
Which is because you haven't played a lot, Carlos.
I know.
Normal,
And
right?
I'm like, there you go. Like, I do need to, try a little bit. There's definitely some things I'm missing.
So I think Reno has a 51% pick rate. So I think people just can't help themselves, right? Got to pick a Reno. But it's
not as good.
I'd say it's better than the stats indicate, because you get.
That's what I was. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it looked better to me. Like, I was like, Reno it's a tier 1.
It's a tier 1.
I mean, well, yeah, it's a tier.
It's really good. Well,
those have to be
good.
The
crazy thing here is you can use your buddy to get a triple.
Get a 6 drop.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you just like hero.
And then you make a
that's
golden.
What I'm saying. Like, I feel like this is way better.
I had this insanely chill Reno game where I just had a buddy and I used it to make a golden captain, and then I just had some pirates, and that's my early game, and I just win some rounds because golden captain's actually really strong in early game. Then after that, I go to 4. I roll a Nubarak. I'm like, okay, I'll just put that in the back. I roll another Nubarak. I'm like, okay, make a golden buddy. Didn't triple into the Titus. I was like, oh. But I got something playable, like I think a horse or something. Right? So I got horse. And then I go to 5 after that. So I have this golden buddy making 2 golden Anubraks in the back, and then I roll the Titus.
You roll the Titus. You hero power the Titus.
I hero power the Titus. I put the Anubraks in the front.
Such an easy game.
And the game is over, right? And it's like, I had one person that got like so big with like this huge golden Theo extra horse, and I had about 500 damage left when they died. Just so stupid to say. Yeah. Now, I had great combat, right? Like, they didn't kill my Titus, they killed my hand. The hand summons like 3 of the reborn guys. All the reborn guys have more than 50 damage. So it's like 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. And like one of my horses had like 100 damage because I bought a ball for 50, sold it. That's so broken as well. Like, Ball of Minions in the shop just has 50 damage. So it's some, usually you skip that because you don't need the damage. But this lad was so large that I was like, fuck it, I'm buying the ball. I'm just, extra 50 damage for someone.
Somewhere, yeah.
And I went on a horse and I'm like, wee! So yeah, that board ended up having like a golden Titus and a golden Selfless. So I just shielded all my undead, 2 of which were horses. God. So the horses, they got the divine shield.
It's so broken.
Yeah, it was disgusting. The game is on YouTube, so it's an easy YouTube game. So that was a good example of, wow, that was such an insane. That was just cruising on Reno, where there was just no danger at any point in the game. It's just. And yeah, I think if you give Reno literally a triple mechanic, that's going to put his win rate through the roof.
I know, right? Like, how that's so busted.
So I think the case here is that a lot of people just snap Reno, but they're not really, they're not really Reno players. Same thing with Gallywix, right? We see Gallywix being picked 62% of the time. It's just being overpicked because Gallywix is Gallywix, and then you don't quite perform. Zephyrus, I think, same thing, 50% Zephyrus pick rate, and also
it should be better, right?
Murloc Holmes again, 65%, but Murloc Holmes is a difficult one. I've been having really, really good success paying 7 gold for the buddy on 6 gold. So essentially on 6 gold, I coin and get my buddy. So you put a 2/6 on the board, then you do your hero power and you steal a card. So instead of buying 2 cards from the shop, you get 2 cards anyway. But your buddy is now down, right? So
that's really good. Yes. That's a smart way. I like that.
It's a nice 7 gold turn, 6 gold turn. And then 7 gold, you just like normal curve, you just level by. 8 gold, you level by. Then on 9 gold, I'm on tier 4. I pay like 11 gold if I have to for my golden buddy, right? Boom, I get my golden buddy on the board. I hero power, I steal 2 cards. And then sometimes you just like, oh, is that 2 Vanessa's? Nice, right? Like, that can happen, right? Like I've stolen 2 magma locks of someone. It's like, ooh.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Get some help.
The best one was I fight a Galacront and I hit the button and it's a Tissa. And I'm like, yeah, let's give me 2 Tissas. So that's like completely disgusting what you can do at that hero. But as I say this, that's a very specific curve. I don't think everyone does that when they pick the hero, because they're like paying 11 gold for the buddy. What the fuck? But you're like, dude, you're stealing 2 copies. It's fine. Like you're tripling into a 5-drop. You're stealing 2 copies. Same thing with the 7 golds. Like you pay 7 gold. It sounds bad when you say it like, oh, I pay 7 gold for this, but you get a 2/6 body on the board and you steal something. We know that these buddies that create money are super good. And that's just the first turn. Like every turn after that, you're just getting more and more and more and more and more. So you're tier 6 in no time. Of course, you can just keep getting bad hit after bad hit after bad hit, but that's the game, right? That's with Tess. Same thing. Sometimes you just don't hit. But there's plenty of times where you just hit anything that is above average. And then it's just like more than money, it carries you. And then, of course, you can go to 6. And we all know a game where you're having money and you can go to 6. A lot of good things tend to happen in those games. So,
very, very true.
So
now I want to know,
yeah,
how far has ETC fallen?
Oof. Let's scroll. Oh, God.
How far has he fallen?
Oof. Oh, this is not
He used to
good.
be legit the best.
Look at
now he's legit the worst. Classic Blizzard balancing.
Yeah, we've got ETC only performing better than Alex Straza, Jiraxis, and Ini. Which is funny because I feel like people aren't playing Jiraxis properly if it's all the way down here, because it's
makes sense to me.
Yeah, but the buddy is decent. Whatever.
I do think the buddy is decent. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, so my ETC games have been fine, but that is again because I do think you need to be very quick in making up your mind now. Before ETC, it was kind of like a buffet of buddies. You're like, a little bit of this buddy, a little bit of that buddy. I'll just do this and do that. Now it's just like, okay, I hit a Deathwing buddy, make it golden, I'm Deathwing. I hit a secret guy, I make it golden, I'm secret guy. I hit whatever, I make it golden, I'm just doing that. So you just need to like decide, okay, we're doing that. Boom. Vol'jin, golden Vol'jin buddy, we're doing that. You don't really get the pivot. Like late game, of course, you can still do things, and your second set of buddies can make another golden buddy, and you can still get the tickets or whatever. But you don't have all that extra money from the early game, so you don't have that thing that carries you and gives you tons of options. So by removing that, you essentially give the ETC a very small window, because every hero power matters. It's a lot of gold, so you can't like hero power 6 times before you make something golden. Whereas before, I would do that all the time where I'm like, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. I've got tons of money anyway, who cares? Now, a lot of the time, you're like, well, I guess this golden buddy is decent, so I'm just going to run with that. And I think right now we see that where people pick ETC because it's still fun. Like, it's funny, right? When you look at the pick rate here, it's Chenvala with 46% and ETC with 50%. So that's a thing of like people can't help themselves, right? Like, ooh, I want to pick Chenvala, I want to pick ETC. With Chenvala, I think it's just not knowing how to play the hero because is rated
piloting error.
Yeah, piloting error. With ETC, also piloting error, but like much more understandable. Where I think the playstyle is so different from what it was from when he was God tier. Like right now, it's I consider it more like a patchwork type thing, which is like this defensive pick, lots of armor, you got 50 health total, you pick it, you make a golden buddy, you do some mid-range stuff, maybe you have a great game and you can win. Most of the time, just take third, take second. Yeah. It's been
Lich Rizal also down there.
Yeah. I think the problem here is people play it like it's pre-buddy Lich.
They go straight to 3 or 4.
You tap, you take damage, you fight the buddy high roller, you die.
I think you should like not try to tap right early. Unless
I think you're essentially rushing this buddy and then you just tap. Yeah. I think that's probably the intelligent way to play her. And I've seen some liches do well. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of scaling early, you scale later, essentially.
What do you mean exactly in this case?
Like, you want to save until you get your buddy, essentially, and then you tap like crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna tap every turn. Yeah. So yeah, that's like I think lich right now with the buddy, it's sort of the definition of fine, because you're like, okay, this buddy gets bigger, I get extra money, fine.
I love it. Yeah. It's like one of the worst heroes in the game. You're like, fine.
Yeah, because people are not playing it in that way.
Yeah, I got you. Like, if it was played properly, the stats would be better.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these heroes, right? We also have Queen Ajara being bottom of tier 3.
So is Lady Vosh.
Yeah, so Vosh I can understand a bit more because Vosh is still quite difficult to play. We know that these...
With Queen Ajara you can't understand, okay.
Well, Queen Ajara is also difficult to play, but so nutty when it gets going that I think I can go to my stats. Let me see. We can have a look at Ajara. Let's see the last 30 days. Sort by net MMR. Yeah, Queen Ajara 4 games, 3 firsts and a third. Where it's just been disgusting. When you get going, it's so disgusting. I had so recently I had some good games where I just made the golden buddy, but then there was that talk of, oh, what if I'm doing really well and I just Greta, I sell my buddy, and then I have 2 buddies that I just golden. So I had that dream, right, where I had the 2 regular buddies because I sold my initial one. I then used my gun on Atissa, so I have a golden Atissa, but I also have 2 golden buddies, which means that every spellcraft I play from that moment on will apply 5 times, which means it will trigger the Atissa 5 times. Which is
the golden Atissa. You should
yeah, the golden Atissa, right? So we're not getting +3/+3, we're getting 6/6. So yeah, that's disgusting amount of stats. Like it's disgusting because you like you're APMing your spellcraft turn, and then at the end you just see animations like you just see the buffs going off, and you just can't really see what's going on your board because it's this fog of buffs going on.
Oh, the buffs only trigger at the end, or
no, they're just going on, but you get these like,
just
but you see the animations of the Atissa, right? The Atissa keeps going off, so it's like, so like if you play a lot of spellcrafts, you can't really see the numbers on your board, and then like the animations clear up, and you're like, oh, that's a big ass board. Every time, no, without fail. At the end of the turn, I'm like, damn, that board got large. Who'd have thunk if a golden Atissa is proccing 5 times for spellcraft, your board gets large? Not me. Couldn't have seen this coming.
Not me, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'm just running hot on the queen pick, right? That's possible. So I'll still pick it. I do think that she does do a lot better when pirates are out, because she plays a stat game, and APM pirate players really check you there, right? Where you're taking up some risk if you're going to be playing queen, because you're going to try to push to 6, going to hero power for those 6 drops, try to get that Greta. So whenever you're going to play a hero that's very likely not going to push into pirates, then you take on a lot more risk in a pirate lobby, because somebody will probably high roll Hogger and then you don't get your first place. Whereas if you pop off like that, you really want to win, because you've taken on quite some risk to get to that position. That's another thing that comes up so often, where I don't know if we're just supposed to let Greta not interact with Hogger, or what the answer is here, but it's quite demoralizing.
You mean in terms of balance?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's not even balance, but just like enjoyment of the game, where I understand that maybe there's too much value in enabling APM pirates in terms of if we look at enjoyment of the game. right? So I'm willing to concede here that me looking at somebody having a Greta and a Hogger saying like that's so boring, the game is already over. I can't win anymore.
It might be boring for you, but it's not boring for them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I'm saying like I'm willing to concede here that it's just one of those things where you say, well, yeah, the overall enjoyment of letting Greta interact with Hogger is still higher than the frustration of people looking at somebody who rolled 2 Hoggers and a Greta and saying, oh, the game has now ended. Yeah, so
I
that's
could see that. I could see that.
Yeah, because my main issue is that there are so many cool things that just 100% cannot work. Once the person has taken off with pirates, it's like you had this cool Naga thing going, don't give a shit. You had this cool Quillbore thing going, doesn't matter. Sell everything, get poisons if you want to survive. And that's pretty much that, and like super high roll elementals are sort of the only comps in the game that do that, where it's like, that's that cute stat thing you were doing here, abandon it. 100% you need poison, or you will just like, you're not even going to beat them. You're just like, you're trying not to take 25, right? You're going all in on poison, not to win, but to not take 25, which is very demoralizing. So you're like, I'm not even going to beat them after selling my units. I'm just going to like tie or take less damage. So yeah, that's probably been my main so I think the game is in a really good spot because I really, really enjoy it. If my main complaint is these damn APM pirate kids are ruining my fun, it's probably a good spot for the game to be. Yeah, there's always got to be something that you don't enjoy. And I think maybe this is also me being experienced enough in the game that I've seen the pirate thing enough. I've done the pirate thing enough. The novelty is kind of gone, and I'm just sitting here like, I don't want to like already abandon any kind of stat plan from the moment I see somebody with a Greta and a Hawker. Yeah, that's it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, just sharing it. I'm sure people haven't heard it before. When I talk
This is a
about
brand new discovery. Wait, Greta works with Hogger? What? I gotta try that.
That's insane. All right. So is there anything else here for the heroes that you look at that you say, you know what, that does not make sense to me, or this looks interesting?
That's what I was saying. Like it all feels clear cut, and that was my problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Essentially.
You were used to disagreeing with the stats.
Yes, I'm used to exactly. Yeah, I don't know this life here where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
I agree with all these stats. They make total sense.
Yeah, obviously some things. The outliers are the ones with low pick rates. I mean, with low pick rates.
Yeah,
I think that's fine, right? Because it means like the people that are comfortable with the heroes are picking them and they're doing well, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah, you can really tell, right? Whack, Toggle, Kurt, those are such pocket picks. Yeah, and especially the low first place rate, it's perfect. You can just see like, they're just tempo Andes the whole time. Yeah. Tempo Andy into Queen Leroy, take my second place, call it a day.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. No, I think we're good then. We got our friend of a friend stuff, which was not as, at least, I'm just one person, right? So maybe we talk to other people, they're like, what do you mean friend of a friend is like insanely meta warping? Cool stuff can happen, crazy stuff can happen, but I think they got it right this time where they're not going to have to remove friend of a friend, 3 days after implementing it, or however long it was last time.
Well, I mean, that was like the main issue back then was the tournament system, I guess, was really close up, and it's hard to like. It was not balanced. First of all, the main issue was it was not balanced.
I was about to say the main issue was for 16 players in the whole world. Yes, I hear you, Collins.
You can't argue that it was not balanced.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when you combine the fact that a lot of people were well, 16 people were practicing.
Yeah, it's funny. I know.
You really derailed my argument with that one.
It's your whole world. I get it at the time, but I did want to point out there were only 16 people in the whole world that were playing that tournament at that time because qualifiers were done. So yeah, it's
for those 16 players. It was very annoying to be like, oh, I cannot really practice the game here, and it's gonna ruin the competition, etc., etc. Shady, why?
I keep you honest. That's fine. So there's I think the bigger thing there is that it just turned every game into an APM game. Like you roll brand, you roll friend, and it's just You described the feeling perfectly. Oh, now I'm gonna have to play all these cards. It's just work every time. But you can't not do it because the other person's also doing it.
Yeah.
And then they're all gonna have ice block. Everyone that popped off is gonna have an ice block.
And the issue as well was that the people who got the brand first take all the brands, right? Because you get the Zephyrs, you get the copy, and if you're smart, like I would just take all the brands. Like I'll have an extra copy of a golden brand in my hand because it's not hard to do. So it's just like, yeah, you can't really mess with me.
True. I did that earlier today where I held a golden friend because I was board locked, but I just bought friends. And then at some point I could unlock and I was like, sell a golden friend. Whee! That was funny. Yeah. Yeah, at this board with like Murkai poison stuff, so I was like, I really can't sell any of these right now. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
All right, let's wrap it up then. Another good one.
Oh, right. I do that part.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the HSBG Podcast. Hope you guys enjoy. You can send us feedback at hsbgpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Educated Collins, Shady Bunny Live. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
See you, everyone.